Hello, everyone. Well, I'm here at last to tell you about March. Thank you for all your messages, wondering where it was. I managed to get away, and when you get a chance to go to the bush, you don't miss that chance, and certainly was worth it. Managed to see all big five, and I've got to tell you, checking out animals is a lot more fun and a lot more relaxing than checking out politicians, because as we know, politicians only bring us drama, pain, and irritation in our lives. So forgive me if I wasn't here, but I was just getting a little bit of life energy reinforced by the magic of nature, which is where our attention should be in this world where climate change, amongst other things, is helping it disintegrate. Nevertheless, that's not where anyone's attention is when it comes to the powers that be. That is certainly their attention focused on themselves, as it usually is. And more than ever, because we're in an election year and the government has got a lot of dealing with its image and itself to do all the more. We have politicians who are going to be full of lies and full of self-importance and full of false promises. Goes with the territory, isn't really anything new, isn't even unique to us in South Africa, and doesn't even require an election year to happen. Well, it's happening anyway. So let's have a check out what's really going on. Of course, we have now been told when the election's going to be, and in the months ahead, we are going to be looking a little bit closer at that. When it comes closer to the election, we'll look at the election itself. But do stay tuned over the coming weeks and months, well, weeks, because it's getting closer to that election already. We're also going to have a closer look at the looming battle, which is already showing in these charts between the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the MK party, Jacob Zuma. One of the things I've often spoken about here is how Ramaphosa has all these hidden enemies and how there are people working behind him within the ANC. We can certainly identify Jacob Zuma as one of them, not so hidden. But the hidden thing about Jacob Zuma, something he often referred to and which somehow has gone a little bit quiet, and that is he knows things. He knows things about people. He knows their secrets. He knows who's done what. All of that is, you know, partly just threats, but also definitely partly true, because that's what's showing in the charts at this time. It shows that the president is dealing with the hidden enemy situation, the person who knows his secrets, and that is probably Jacob Zuma. If ever there was a good astrological representation of a thorn in the side, that's what this chart is looking like. So the remainder of the month of March is what's a lot of what the ANC's energy is actually on is the battle with the MK party. Much of the legal battle has been postponed for until about the end of this month. So it's all the workings going on behind it. And Ramaphosa, surprisingly, it looks like we're actually going to be seeing some of him and he's out there. And I think the politicking and the campaigning is going to use his face and him a lot more in this coming month and the weeks ahead. And while behind the scenes, it's very much him versus Zuma. I mean, of course, he knows what Zuma knows about him, and that's very concerning to him. He is going to be putting on a very strong, brave face approach. He's going to be taking a much more hardline looking approach to things, presumably primarily in the KwaZulu-Natal region, where he faces that opposition from Zuma. He's not one to generally take a hardline approach, but he certainly talks a hardline approach. So he's really, as we know, he's much more talk than action. And he's going to really work on making it sound serious, making us try and take him seriously. Things are looking serious. When we look at the chart at the moment, South Africa's image in the world, on the one hand, is looking very strong in some parts of the world or much of the world, and that's presumably because of the International Court of Justice situation, where, for the most part, South Africa's image was enhanced by that. Perhaps also by the elections and other factors which are making South Africa's image and presence in the world, for better or for worse, kind of in their faces. They are paying attention and taking notice of us. And that is going to be good, especially if things like election monitors or other people come here to pay closer attention to what's happening in the weeks ahead. It's going to be interesting to look at that election chart very soon and see what we really have to face in terms of what's happening with all the side stuff on that election, or apart from the election itself, all the behind the scenes things going on, the MK party stuff going on, and the possibility that things might not seem as free and fair as we are expecting or accustomed to. So that we will take a look at in the coming months. So make sure you subscribe, you're checking on this channel, and you can see what's going on when we look at the election charts. And we're also going to take a special look, as I said, at the ANC versus the MK party situation in these coming weeks as well. So watch out for those uploads. In the meanwhile, this is having a serious effect on the Ramaphosa presidency, and it remains apparent to me that the presidency itself is something which is under threat. So, looking at other things other than the presidency, it also looks like a financially challenging time for the country. It's getting worse and more squeezy. The exchange rate is going to continue to suffer. Cash flow, the availability and sense of cash for ordinary people like us is going to feel tighter than ever. People are feeling more squeezed. And so the exchange rate and everything else is going to go along with that. It is a challenging time financially. However, through this period, and this year and next year as well, but especially right now, these weeks ahead, there's a lot of adjustment happening to the financial situation, which is hopefully going to be helpful. We've heard about tightening belts and all of that nonsense in the past, which only ever refers to the citizens have to tighten their belts while the government generally carries on spending as if there was no tomorrow at all. So presumably that happens, but what we can see is a very restricted flow of money in this chart, and that's going to wake up people, wake up the situation, and gradually lead to a much more disciplined financial situation. If it doesn't lead to a much more lacking financial situation before that, because that remains a threat. I mean, if you looked at it astrologically, South Africa is running out of money, and you've got to wonder over all the billions. The ANC is now getting its billions from generous friends in other countries who might have stolen it from us in the first place, for all we know. But so we know that the real money and the reduced tax input, all of those kind of things, it's beginning to show and it's beginning to take its toll. And so financial things are something we do need to worry about in this time. Where do we have any hope? Amazingly, it remains still in our sporting area, where we will continue to see good news happening in the world of sports. It's not just the Olympic Games, which are quite far down the line as we've got so much in between, but there continue to be positive developments, both in terms of sport and sports people themselves, new people on the scene who can rescue our sense of ourselves and of our image and everything that goes along with that. So holding tight onto those kind of things while we do create a new image, because the good news is that is what we are doing. We are constructing a new idea of this is who we are. You know, our identity that we established in 1994 as the Rainbow Nation was useful for a few years at that time. And as people have said, it's a very tattered rainbow right now. But we need to move on from that anyway. We need a more realistic and more appropriate to this world and to this country that the ANC has left us, rather than the country that previous governments have left us. We need to rework and redefine who we are. So kind of that's our homework as citizens as we look to an election coming up really in weeks' time. It's just 2 months away. We need to really be looking at ourselves and who are we as a country. And our thoughts going forward must be beyond the individual issues, which are relevant, of course, but to the bigger issue also of who are we as a country. Just like we were thinking in 1994. We need to get our minds back to that, and that will help us make the better choices, both in terms of our country and in terms of that election. So be sure to stay tuned to this channel and subscribe to this channel to see the upcoming um, video we're going to do on ANC versus MK, Cyril versus Jacob. There's going to be a video about that. There's going to be a video about the elections, but that's going to be coming just a little bit later. For those of you who are interested in astrology and astrologically inclined, there is a World Astrology Summit that's going to look at all over the world what's happening in the months ahead, including South Africa. I'll be representing South Africa there. It's an online summit. If you want to know more about it, check on my Facebook page or check in the links below here. I'll post something about it. And you need to probably be a little bit astrologically literate in order to really follow it. But hey, you're still going to hear a lot about countries, politics, and the world in between all the astrological stuff. So if you want to know more and need and want your mind a little bit more expanded, check out the World Astrology Summit in the links below. In the meanwhile, never mind all those politicians, what's happening for us? Aries, it looks like things have been going well, and especially on the financial front, you're probably feeling a little bit more fluid than you've felt for a very long time, which is great, but hang on to it. It does show that there could be hidden expenses or money slipping through your fingers. So it's a great opportunity to build your resources and to develop the discipline of managing your own resources this month. Focus on not spending and finding more and more ways to build and manage the money that is coming in. There are other areas of life which challenge your sense of exactly who you are. You might be put on the spot. You might have to like step up to the plate. Yeah, that's another expression. But for the most part, things are good. You've just got to like fake it until you make it. That's the approach to take this month. Be strong, be yourself. Don't let things slip through your fingers because you're overconfident, both in terms of money and in terms of your own self. Taurus, for the most part, you also need to make sure that little things are not draining away your self-confidence, your resources that are you using at the moment that can include money. It seems as if people are the problem. It's kind of like the people around you are pulling at you and demanding things and annoying you, and maybe you just need to spend more time alone. Taurus, this is a great month for spending more time alone. But if that's not the best way for you to do it, then the other things to do are just kind of change who you're mingling with, change the people around you at the moment, change where you're going, spend time in places you don't normally go to a different restaurant or take a different route or find different people just to have in your sphere if you can't take time to be on your own. You need to actually just get a sense of you doing your thing and a better sense of support from the people around you. Find a more supportive environment, people-wise, and your own sense of self and strength will return. Gemini, it looks like you're in building mode. You're building a strong foundation, and you can work on that this month to build a foundation that's going to make you feel more secure and put you in a better position for the months ahead. There's unfinished business you need to address. There are things that you've been trailing along for quite some time, be they debts, be they things to do with other people, something like that. And you actually need to clear that out before you can make progress. Some Geminis have kind of hidden enemies, not as bad as President Ramaphosa has, and we all know his hidden enemies are not so hidden. But its hidden enemies are not always people. They can be things that you're doing or attitudes that you have or things that you've allowed to remain unfinished or undealt with. And those are the things that by cleaning those up, you're in a much better position. Gemini, also focus on your spiritual life this month. It's looking a little bit neglected, and that can also give you a greater sense of peace and harmony. Cancerians, it looks like you've got a fun month ahead of you. Other signs are all worrying about this, that, and the next thing, but you can afford to chill, you can afford to have a good time, and actually concentrate more on the things that you love to do rather than the things that you have to do. You're still going to have to do the have to do's because that's what they're all about. But the things you love to do are often neglected, and they feed your creative energy and your nurturing energy that you're so famous for. If you can, of course, the Cancerian things, this is a great month for time spent with people you love, children, animals, and everything that you like to take care of. Just being yourself in that way. Get back to your kind of nurturing parental type of self and you'll nurture yourself in the process, or just start with yourself. But also concentrate on playtime, making sure your hobbies, activities, and all the stuff that you love to do is priority this month. That's going to make everything seem like more fun. Minimum requirement, just bring some kind of sense of fun to all the chores and stuff you have to do. It's all going to work much easier. Leo, it looks like while everyone else is doing the important stuff or having the fun, you're kind of doing the chores. And the chores aren't so bad because actually you just got to give all your energy into it. You can get into an almost mindless mode, let go of a lot of what's going on in your world, and just really just do the stuff that needs to be done. Chores, of course, could be chores like household chores, but it's all the behind the scenes slog work, the bits and pieces that need to be done for your real work to be able to continue. Many of you are creative and work in creative ways, but there's still a lot of hard work that comes behind the scenes, and that's what needs your attention at the moment. Other than creative, including creative, big projects are still important and they are going to make progress, but you just need to be doing the back end work as well. This is a great time also for leadership and initiative, other basic Leo skills. So exercise your authority, take charge, get others to do some of the chores, makes it a bit easier. You're moving ahead. Virgos, it looks like there's some unfinished business, which is not so common for you. You're quite a fastidious and pay attention to detail kind of person. Normally you've taken care of those, but there's unfinished business that requires your attention that is also kind of working against you. Quite frankly, there could even be people working against you, deliberately or not, that are actually slowing down your path. So it's a stock-taking month, Virgos, for all the people in your life, from your personal life to your professional life, just kind of taking a second look, ask yourself, who's really serving me at the moment? Does this really work for me at the moment? Can I be doing this on my own? And maybe I need some other people in my life who serve me a little bit better. You might not even be serving yourself so well and getting into your usual Virgo mode of doing so much for others that you're not doing enough for yourself. Bring it back home, serve yourself, the goals get met. Librans, it looks like you might be relying on someone or something that isn't so reliable right now. Not necessarily they're going to let you down. It's just that those resources that you might be needing are just not coming your way. Might not be the best way to get things done. So you also, in like your Virgo next door neighbors, you need to get into that mode of bring it back home to yourself, take charge yourself of what's going on. But there's a lot that needs to be let go of, and letting go in terms of what you require or depend on from other people or those people themselves. And in order to make yourself a bit more independent at this time in your life, you need to let go of some things that you might even have thought were assets, which could be physical assets, need to be let go of. Some things that you thought were more valuable than they actually are. Just let go. Don't hang on trying to create value where there isn't any. This is a time for clearing the past and the behind in order to lose weight so you can move forward. Scorpio, don't you just want to get away from it all? Well, if you get that opportunity, now's the time to do it. It might be an odd time of the month or the year, but I mean, I managed. So if you can get away from all the input, a bit of a break, a bit of the bush, a bit of whatever some empty space will do is really great for you right now. Alternatively, change is as good as a holiday, and a good book can be as good as a holiday. Just change the input, give yourself more pleasurable or desirable things that you like kind of input, and that will make some of that holiday feeling happen as well. Like most of us at this time, there's a lot to be let go of. And in your case, beliefs and expectations, whether it's about yourself, whether it's about other people, those are standing in your way, and you're kind of hanging on to the expectation of something that is intangible and that probably isn't going to happen. Could even be that you're relying on someone who's just going to let you down. So let go of everything you possibly can. Focus on what can I do to bring new things into my own life that will stimulate me and remind me of who I am. Sagittarius, it's kind of a keep doing whatever it is you're doing kind of month. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll get the most enormous results just yet, but you're investing in all the right things, and gradually the results, the outcomes of everything you're doing just look like they're getting better and better. you do need different people around you in order to help that. So don't be shy to venture into new places. Shy and Sagittarius are not really two words that go together. So bring out your more adventurous self. It's time to explore people and places and find new connections, because it's new connections that are going to be helping you in the weeks and months ahead. This is also a great opportunity for you to get new ideas and new input, to learn something new, expose yourself to new ideas, always something that you like. But there's a calculated strategy in your chart that says the things that you are building now at this time are really going to serve you in the months ahead and can make your professional life much more rewarding. Big successes are ahead. Capricorn, it's time to kind of reshape some of your goals and some of your bigger ideals at this time, because there's opportunities coming up in the weeks ahead to set your sights on new goals. In fact, this is a great time to take the bull by the horns in various different areas of your life. Things that have been bubbling under, things that you've been promising yourself that you're going to do, it's time to actually get on with it and do it. In many areas of your life, you might also have to kind of put your foot down and exercise your authority a little bit as well. People do listen to you, people will be listening to you. So it's perhaps time to speak up about certain things that might have been bothering you or might be going on in your life. It's a great time to exercise initiative, to get people to come along with you for the ride and get some things done. But this is your time for stepping up and stepping into it and doing those things that have been on your list for the longest time. Now you will get them done. Aquarius, you can easily feel overwhelmed by people. As much as you love them, they kind of get in the way of what you're doing some of the time, and this is one of those times. So I'm not saying chase them all away. You're great with people, and your friends are very important to you. In fact, this month, your friends are particularly important to you. So what I'm really saying is be more selective about who's around you at this time. There are definitely new friends on the horizon, and that's because some old friends are leaving. Some old friends are leaving in unexpected ways, or they are just unexpected people who are not going to be in your life anymore. But for whatever the reason, it's really a kind of a shake up of who's around you. So, like many of us this month, you need to explore and examine who's good for me, who do I need to have around me, and who supports my bigger goals. Because Aquarius, for this month, that's your real question. Who supports the bigger goals that I have? I've got to get some things done. Either I do it myself or I get some new people. That's your mission, Aquarius. Pisces, happy birthday. I'm guessing it's probably happened already for many of you, but this is a great month for birthday acts of setting up some new resolutions. While it might always be a good thing to do around our birthdays, this year you've really got the opportunity to put some things into place that are going to work and that are going to last. Pisces, think of your bigger goals now. It's not just the everyday stuff and the ordinary stuff that makes life smooth and easy, although obviously we need some of that too, but it's the big stuff that you can do. You might also have to like step up and act with strength and power and authority in a situation where that might be anything but what you're feeling. If you are feeling that, great, it's working for you. If you're not feeling that, you're going to have to fake it, but it's still going to work for you. This is the time when people are hearing you, they're listening to you, they're going to do what you say, and you might find not all of them are liking you. And you know what, Pisces? It's okay if not everyone likes you all of the time. Keep moving forward with what you're doing. It's going to have a good result. That's our story this month. If you're still here, don't forget, check out the World Astrology Summit details and check the channel. Make sure you subscribe and get notifications. More political news coming up in the weeks ahead. See you then.